Too many hills, not enough food. I've just spent the last 40 minutes driving to here, which includes driving down many South Devon lanes, which are 60 miles an hour. They are sporadically single lane. They're sporadically single track, basically. So you have to be very aware of what is coming around the corner, which may be a caravan, and dive into a hedge. It's quite fun driving, but it is quite stressful. This is going to be a really good one, I think. I hope. Let's go. And I'm immediately faced with a hill of epic proportions, just so steep. I also just looked at my Garmin screen, and normally it always says how many hills you've got on the ride, and normally I've got about 6, between 4 and 8, and that's not every hill, it's just like the major hills. This is all obviously relative to the route, but I've just looked, and this is 13 hills. Will it look flat to you? Just came down an absolutely batshit hill into the world's most pretty tiny little hamlet, Lower Batson, and now I'm cycling along a bit of estuary. Oh my god, it's so obscene around here. The wealth around here would make your eyes water. It's really pretty. I'm heading into Salcombe, which is another, I mean, it's just so pretty. At the very beginning of my 3-year sailing voyage around the Atlantic and Caribbean that I did on my old little 10-metre boat, many years ago now, but I anchored here and it was really expensive. You can anchor most places for free, it's only moorings you have to pay for, but here you pay to anchor. If you wanted to know the worst place in the country to drive, it must be Salcombe. It's so bad. Not bad, it's not designed for it. And yet people in their brand new SUVs insist on still driving down here. So incredibly beautiful. You can catch a little pedestrian ferry across the river as well to East Portlemouth, which is the beaches on the other side. And it's like fully golden sand beaches, clear water, it's incredible. But cycling in and out of it, ooh, it's tough. So I anchored down there in the river 13 years ago. And it was so beautiful. It must have been May, June. It's weird. Weird how time flies. I was at the beginning of an adventure I had no comprehension of at that time. This is a really lovely bit of shared path, just separate from the road, out of Salcombe, which is lovely because it's a 60-mile-an-hour road. I love a surprise shared path. You know that feeling when you're just zooming through somewhere, it's lovely and flat or downhill, whatever, and then suddenly you need to like hang a right and it's vertical and you've got no time to change gears. All you can do is question your choices. That's what coming out of South Milton is like. This is a tidal road. Love that. So this route is a bit of a balloon, but the car I've parked like along the balloon string. And as a result, this is cool. This is so tidal. This would have been completely underwater, actually, when I arrived. Amazing. Probably not good for my bike, but hey ho. Yeah, just did the balloon part of the balloon, but as a result, got back to my car. So I got back to my car just a minute ago after doing the bulk of the ride, the bulk of the hills, and had a sandwich, had a plum, and it was very difficult to carry on going. So I was originally going to do this bit of the ride first, but I couldn't because tide times. But I'm really glad that I actually did not just get in my car and drive home. Well, I'm really tired. Like I haven't gone very far. I've done 32 kilometers. But honestly, the hills have been, they've been incredibly difficult. But this is the actual reason why I'm here today. This is the actual part of the ride that I planned the rest of the ride around, so I didn't feel I could really sack it off, and I'm very glad because within 5 seconds of this I'm on an entirely tidal path, which is just wicked. For those of you who are not from the UK or from tidal areas, you might not have ever considered the extremity of the tide. Oh my god, the hills are punishing. I really don't think I have the energy for this. Too many hills, not enough food. So, in the UK, we have quite big tides. And today is biggish because it's springs, which a spring tide is when the so how do I explain this? So we have quite reasonable sized tides here. Like it's not Newfoundland, it's not Brittany, but we do have quite big tidal ranges. Depending on where you are in the country, the tidal range here today is almost 5 meters, which means there is a 5 meter difference between the height of the water at low tide and the height of the water at high tide. And that changes throughout the month. In 6 hours time, it'll be high tide, and because it's springs, it will be very high. So I've got to do what I'm doing now at this time of day. Honestly, I think that may have been the hardest hill, but because I'm on the balloon string, I'm gonna have to do it again on the way back to the car. But I think I will have a coffee when I'm in the place I'm going, so maybe I'll be alright. Okay, I've had to stop just halfway down this hill because I don't want to waste the view for you, but this is such a steep hill. This is Burgh Island and the causeway. It is pretty cool. It's tough cycling because the sand has been dry for a couple of hours now, I guess, thanks to the big tides. So Burgh Island is an island and it is completely cut off from the land, apart from at, low tide, a couple of hours either side of low tide. And I've never cycled across here before. I've been here quite a few times. I've never cycled here, never cycled across the causeway. It's super cool. What's also cool about it though is that if the tide is up and you can't walk across it, you can still get across, not in a boat, in a sea tractor. Burgh Island is where Agatha Christie used to hang out and write some of her murder mysteries. Mystery Christie. But you know what? I've never thought of that before. Anyway, it's like an Art Deco hotel. It's a really small island. It's nice to walk around, but I ain't gonna cycle it because there's just not really any point. It's not really for that. I just wanted to cycle the causeway. I did all these hills just for this causeway. Oh God, sounds getting a bit soft. Now I'm gonna find a coffee before I take on the massive, unnecessarily massive hill back to the car. Oh, this is so good. is now going to take me every ounce of effort left to get up to my car at the top of this massive hill. 5 kilometers of hill. Oh my gosh, I think I'm at the top. Coming from sea level up to 110 meters. It's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot. Ah, it feels so good. It's just downhill all the way back to the tidal road. Well. That was tough. I've just looked at the stats, the official stats for that ride. 42 kilometers, over 1100 meters of elevation in 42 kilometers. That is mental, and it feels it, frankly. I'm tired. Somewhere along the line, I think it was this short bit of 60-mile-an-hour road that was quite busy above Salcombe, and I think I was just going a little bit too hard up there to try and get, you know, to do that section quite quickly so that I could get off and go on a quieter road. Obviously there's no point in doing that, because it takes so much extra effort to just go 1 mile an hour faster when you're going up a hill on a bike, and the car behind you does not know. It has not even registered the fact that you're going 1 mile an hour faster, because it wants to do 30 miles an hour faster, more. Anyway, I don't know what I did, but I've just like tweaked the base of my back, and going uphill has been quite painful. And then when I got back here and had like a quick sandwich before I went to Burgh, I was just like, is this a good idea to carry on? Like, I've never hurt my back. I'm very youthful. I'm really careful with my back because you hear stories. But lost a glove. What a great ride. What a great ride. I'm so glad. I feel a bit sunburned. I'm so glad I carried on, because the best bit of the ride was that ride to Burgh. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely brutal, but actually, you know what, the best bit of this ride was this tidal road here, which funnily enough is from my car. It's literally from the car park. The car park has 2 entrances because only one is usable when the tide is up. That's how tidal this car park is. If you're parked at the bottom of the car park, like in the spaces by the estuary bit, your car is going to be sat in seawater for half of every 24-hour period. So the best bit of the ride was basically from this car park, like a kilometre from this car park and back again. That was my favourite part of the ride. Could have just turned up and done that and gone home. Yeah, my favourite part has been from the car to Burgh and back again. Even though the first, you know, the major part of the ride over to Salcombe was also really beautiful. And a great ride, great workout. My Garmin says I'm basically dead. I'm so tired. So it was, I did a lot. But isn't that crazy? 42 kilometres, 1100 metres of elevation. It's not crazy if you live in the Alps, but it is crazy if you just live in Devon. I'm going to now drink some flask coffee, eat an apple, and then drive home. Let me know if you have ever done any tidal cycling. I highly rate it. It is so much fun. Thanks for coming with me on this one, and I will see you in the next one.